What's up, team? Sean for Us to Live, and I want to continue in our series of using free or close to free resources to build your own business, generate your own side hustle, just make more money in general and build some assets for yourself. So, in previous videos, we've talked about building a lead generation website and how to go ahead and use that. On the last one, we talked about this idea of dash cams and creating an e-commerce website. We also started this idea of talking about almost a consultancy or white labeled product approach to doing this. I wanted to give you another one today that I think is going to be really interesting. So I wanted to leverage the free resources in ChatGPT combined with the very low pricing of a domain name and a free website from GoDaddy. I'm not sponsored by anyone here, just so you know, there's no affiliate links. All I ask is if you like the video, please hit like and subscribe. I'm not getting any kind of compensation for this, so appreciate you doing that for me. The reason why I wanted to do this was I was having a great conversation with a buddy who was just looking to get something started on the side. But he said, and I hear this from everyone, I don't know how to code a website. I don't know how to write code. I don't know how to read code. I don't have time to learn. I have a full-time job. I totally get it. So sometimes the idea is we want to take something that's really simple and find a way to monetize it. So the underlying premise of this was I wanted to come up with a really simple website that will have a really, simple function. The function has to be something that I can use ChatGPT to generate the code for me for free, be really easy to take that code and put it in a website, and then monetize the website with ads. So in this case, it was AdSense. So I'm going to walk you through sort of the high level of how this works. There's nothing here that you cannot do already. So no special skills, no special requirements, nothing you need to suddenly get really good at. Okay, this is simple stuff. So let me share my screen. We're going to jump right in and waste no more time. Excuse me. So first things first, I have you on the back panel here of my website that I just stood up the other night. I want to make sure everything worked. And I picked a really simple name. We've talked about this now on a couple of these, that having a simple, clear name is a great starting point. You can sell the domain, you can sell the business, you can build a business. But it starts with having something simple. So I had this idea of like, what if I just built a really simple website with lots of different calculators that people could use for lots of different reasons. It could be for mortgages or for compound interest. It could be for doing homework, whatever the case is. And I also want to teach you how to think about iterating when you're asking for help from an AI assistance tool like ChatGPT, because that's the most important part of this. The website piece is easy. Putting the code in the website, super easy. The hard part is knowing how to ask questions in the right way when you're dealing with an AI tool. So, excuse me. This is sort of the finished product. I'll show you how I got here. So this is CalcSpot. Here we are, right? CalcSpot, calculate anything. We are in beta. All calcs are in test mode, which they are. I haven't really gone through and verified everything's working. What do you want to calculate, right? I just want this to be really simple, clean, and easy. When you come to the site, I've got a couple of different things in here. Now, I'm in the editor in the back end, and I'll show you what this looks like live in a second. But, I've got a simple compound interest calculator, right? I've got a millionaire calculator, how long to save $1 million. I've got a mortgage PITI calculator. I even threw in here a basic calculator. I've got some other ideas that people have actually suggested to me. And then also what I included was a real simple, what type of calculator do you need? Let us know. And I'll try to build it out with ChatGPT. So this team's super easy. You can see how throwing some ads on here will generate a little bit of revenue. And this is the kind of website someone might save because it's got lots of cool, ever-changing calculators that are easy to work with. Now, what I want to call out here is you can turn this into whatever you want. You can create a premium service. You can customize. You can find ways to make or share what you have on here with other people and charge for that. I'm just trying to keep it really simple from a standpoint of getting started today. So again, with the theme of not wasting any time, I want to jump right into ChatGPT. So once you sign up for it, this is the free version of it. What I'm going to do is ask it a really simple question. Let's start with the one that I really created this whole idea around, compound interest, because I want to show you the way to think about changing the way you approach it and what you might be missing to add more value to drive more people to save you on what you're building versus someone else. Now, if you're saying to yourself, like, look, I don't need a calculator website. I have no interest in that. Team, great. You can ask it to code anything. The important thing is to understand that like code comes in different flavors. And if you're not sure, you should ask like, hey, can you write me code to show this? Okay, well, I want it to be actionable. Oh, well, okay, you might need some JavaScript. Well, it will tell you that. You don't need to know that you need JavaScript. Oh, you want to have some sort of predictive component or more advanced features. Well, maybe it's Python. Maybe it's some other type of code. Well, you don't know that going in. So you can ask questions to the tool, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's start here. I am doing this in the morning. So let's say, good morning. I need, the code for a wow, my hands are tired today. Compound interest calculator for my website. Let's see what comes up. Of course, it's a Saturday morning, so I expected this is going to be super busy. While that's running, we should just take a second here. I want to call out that if you're thinking about, I've never worked on websites and I don't know where to even begin, okay, you're totally fine again. So when you see down here all these different sections, right, and you're inside of one of these free GoDaddy websites, you've got these little plus buttons for add section. So I'm going to click add section. And in order to add these advanced features, I'm going to go right down here to file and web, and I'm going to go to HTML. Now, what's cool here is it's really simple. So I'm going to add this here. And this is where the code will render. So whatever I put, where I put the code, it's going to show up on here. So you can see this here, right? We've got some different accents of what color I want it to look like when it renders. I'm just going to keep it white so it's nice and easy. And also, do I have a title, right? Let's just say compound tester. Okay. And the code's going to go in here. So let's see if it started running yet. There we go. Here's a simple JavaScript code for compound interest calculator. The code calculates compound interest base. It tells you how it works. Let's see how this looks in a second here. So I'm going to copy the code. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put it right in here. I'm going to paste it. And you say, oh, shoot. Well, that doesn't look right. Correct. Because what it's doing is, my first attempt here was that I thought it understood I wanted to show a compound interest calculator. But what it's doing is actually showing the math behind it. So, okay, well, that's not going to work. Let me get rid of that. Let me go back. I'm going to say, thanks. I want to show the calculator and let people use it. Can you code this, please? I don't know why I'm being polite, but it's just the way I am. So let's try that again. Okay. So I want to call this out. The thing you should be trying to do as you're doing this is learning, right? So we see up here the JavaScript, right, created the function to do the calculation. Okay. This is easy learning. HTML down below is actually creating the visual aspect of it. So we're going to let this run for another second or so. And this is where you can start to play around with it and use different ideas. It looks really complex, and you might be looking at this thinking like, I don't know what the heck any of that means. You know what? That's okay. For now, it's good enough to work. We can start there and we can test it and make sure things are working later. That's totally fine. So I'm going to give this another minute or two to work on it. But what I want to share while this is loading is I've been trying this in a number of different ways. Yes, I'm showing this as an example for something basic like a calculator on a website that drives ads, but also you can think of like, I want to have different actions. I want to have an e-commerce store. I want to be able to show pictures. I want to have it forward things to other things. I want to pull information from a file and put it directly in. There's lots of things you can do here, but my goal here is to show you how to start things that are simple and that you can monetize really quickly. Okay, let's try this one now. We're going to copy that code. We're going to go back. Excuse me. You're going to paste it. And there we go, right? So I see that this is a little bit small for my section, so I just want to show you a little quick tip here. I'm going to go down here below. We're going to say 350 pixels. There we go. I can see everything in my screen. That looks good to me. I'm going to say, cool, I'm done. I want to publish this and see if it worked. Excuse me. Of course, these are always the hardest parts, is sitting here and waiting for it to go through. It usually only takes a minute, but I assume it's a pretty busy day. So I want to view the site and see how it looked. So this is the site as it stood before. Down below, we're going to find a new calc. We'll say, okay, principal amount, years, calculate it. Cool. So really basic. I can get my compound interest calculator that has my principal amount, my rate of interest, and how long. And this will be my compound interest. But you know what? I realize this might be too basic to really make people want to use it. So it's giving me an idea here. What is the thing that I'm missing? And it sort of clicks with me a little bit. Like, you know what would be really useful is if I also knew the inflation rate and how that affected things. So I'm going to say, could you include code for inflation rate? So we're going to get an updated version of the previous code with inflation data in there, or the ability to put the inflation rate in, because let's be honest, if I'm saving for the future, the rate of inflation is going to affect the value of my money in my overall return. So it's important to know that too. So we'll let this run for a second here. And as we let it run, I just really want to double down on the point here. We can talk about how to grow these into much bigger enterprises that are delivering real-time calculations, tracking your portfolio, helping you with homework, driving towards paying your mortgage off early, for sure. But step one is I want to build the baseline understanding for people who are watching this to say, like, you know what? I can actually do this. And sometimes just building a website as simple as what you're seeing is enough confidence to go and tell people, hey, check out this website I built. I know it's basic, but if you ever need these calculators, you should use my website to do it. And every time they go in, there's a little bit of ad revenue that might come back to you. Excuse me. So now let me redo this. I'm going to copy that code again. And I'm going to click right in my box here. I'm going to delete my original code. Oops. There we go. I'm going to dump my new code in, paste. And I can now see it includes inflation rate in there. So this is great. So now we can actually go ahead and run a compound interest calculator with inflation being taken into account. So this is really the crux of what I'm trying to really get across with these videos is everyone on YouTube, everyone you meet is talking about building $1 billion company and making $200,000 a month and how fast to 100 million and, you know, when Lambo and everything else. And that's great. Hey, no problem. The problem is it's all bullcrap if you don't have something to build upon. So if you think you have a really complex, advanced idea, you have to remember it just starts with building the foundation of that idea. It's about getting the word out. So this is a great example of if you already have a social media following and you say, hey, I know one of the things we get asked about all the time is compound interest. Here's a great compound interest calculator to include. Now, what you might want to do is add some blog content to this, right? I wasn't planning on showing this, but you know what? If you're still watching the video, let me share one more thing here. Excuse me. So let's say you realize like, hey, this is a great idea, but I'll tell you what, I want people to have more of a reason to come to my site than just a calculator. So maybe you want to have a financial blog as well. So let's do something simple like, what are the top 10 most important things in personal finance? Right? And we're going to let ChatGPT literally write this for me. And I can even call out in my blog that, hey, I leverage ChatGPT, learn more about it by following my blog, right? These are the kind of things that are coming from it, right? And it can be more advanced than this as well, right? Maybe we don't want to just have our top 10 most interesting things. Maybe we also want to talk about like, how do I calculate, helps when I spell things right the first time, return on assets, right? For those who watch this channel for the financial side of things, return of assets, financial ratio, blah, 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 blah. Like you can see how simple it is to really start to build a ton of content in no time. I mean, this video is probably 10, 15 minutes long. We essentially could have multiple calculators on a site, edited and embedded. We can have a number of blog posts now on the site, simple and easy, and you're up and running with content. Now you go to Google, you sign up for AdSense, and let me show you that while we're here. Excuse me. With AdSense, once you have your AdSense account, I go over here to settings, I scroll down to the bottom, and boom, it's as easy as just putting my Google AdSense in right here. If I want to track Google Analytics, I put my code in here. This is how simple it is. Now, I'm not saying you can't build super advanced websites. I'm not saying you have to build a simple business. You might be trying to build the next gen platform that's going to change the world. I hear that. But even the most advanced coders and software engineers in the world, I work with a lot of these people, they still have to start from zero. No matter what, they're still taking something and starting with it. And don't kid yourself. A lot of code is already pre-written, and then we stack other code on top to get the derivative or deeper features and functions we want. So it's very rare that we start at zero and just build like that. Even in terms of more advanced features, there's usually libraries of pre-built features and functions, so I can copy and paste from a library. So don't feel like you're missing the boat or you're cheating or whatever. And what's really cool too is if you want to start to practice this on your own and you're getting errors, you can reverse this flow. Take your code, put it into ChatGPT, and let it tell you what's wrong. Now, full stop. I'm not saying this is the end all be all of solving all of your problems financially or building a business. What I'm saying is, if you are finding yourself in fear because you don't know how to do it, or you're not sure where to start, or this is something that doesn't come natural to you or feels easy, no problem. It could be as simple as just coming up with some content for a basic blog to start getting the ball rolling in your approach to how you do things. So all I'm saying is let me know what you think of this. And I'm telling you, if you build something, let us know what you're building. Everyone is so scared to share their ideas because someone's going to steal it. No one's going to steal it. The amount of people who actually execute is so small, it would blow your mind. I have a really good friend. Like I said, we were on the phone yesterday. He was saying he knows everything about this really niche sport. I won't say it because, I don't want to put it out there, but it's a really niche sport. He feels like there's no one who's really doing it well, putting it all in one place, aggregating the information, the articles, the places to go and play, how to get equipment, the kind of clothes. And I walked him through this and he was like, oh my God, I think I could have this up and running in like a week by working a couple hours on just pulling things together. It won't be perfect, but it'll be enough that I can have the general framing built. And then if I wanted to outsource it and pay someone, there's enough built, I'll save money by doing it that way. So, team, with that, I would really love to hear what your ideas are down below. What do you think of this if you've tried it? Otherwise, I hope you have a great Saturday or whatever day you happen to watch this. And thanks so much as always. If these videos are helpful and you like this idea of small businesses, I would also be open to doing a live stream. But I don't want to do if it's only going to be like one or two people watching, because these videos don't get a lot of views for whatever reason. So if you see this and a live stream would be helpful, let me know down below. And if we can get enough people on Twitter also, I'll kick off a live stream. We'll do a full-blown starting a business, how to think about ideas, how to grow those ideas, how we can help each other. So with that, thanks so much.